Welcome to Xara template tutorial lesson number 105 for the Xara Web Designer MX Premium version 8 software. This is a continuation of our previous tutorial on how to integrate Wow Slider photo slider software into your Xara Web Designer MX Premium website. In other words, how to integrate the photo slider from their program to show up on your website. So the first thing I want you to do is to open the previous Wow Slider file that we created in the previous tutorial. And once you have that open, I want you to go ahead and click on the publish option up here. And once you left click that, it will bring up the publish gallery properties. And when you're in those properties, I want you to take a look at the publish to folder option and make sure that it's set to the folder that you want it in. If it's not, then I want you to click on the browse button and then select the folder that you want. For example, if this is the folder that you wanted, you would select it and then hit the button that says select folder. But I'm going to hit cancel because I already have it in the folder that I want it in. So once you pick the proper folder you want, the next thing I want you to do is make sure that you change your index file name. In this case, I set it to gallery.html. And the reason I changed that is because I want to make sure that it doesn't match the index file that we will have when we export our website in Xara Web Designer. By default, this would have index.html, but I've already changed it. So go ahead and make sure you change it to something that you're not going to have in one of your file names when you export your website in Xara Web Designer. So let's go ahead and go to the bottom of our page here and make sure you have the option checked that says open web page after publishing, because we want to open the web page so that we can go ahead and copy the code from it. So go ahead and hit the publish button here at the bottom, and that's going to publish those files to that folder, and it's also going to show us a preview of it in our web browser. And as you can see, it has the title and description, and it also shows the transitions for the photos. And if you click on any of the right or left arrows here, it'll transition through the photos by you interacting with the photo slider. So to get the code, we would go to a blank area of this web page, right click, and then click on the option that says view page source. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it on screen, and hopefully that's big enough for you to see that. And the part that we want to copy first is the part that says start wowslider.com head section, and we're going to copy that all the way down to the part that says in wowslider.com head section. So let's go ahead and copy that and hit Control C to copy it. And this is going to go into the head section of our placeholder, which is why it said head section. So let's go ahead and go to the Xara Web Designer software, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the rectangle tool and create a quick shape in our workspace. And I'm going to set this to 960, and I'm going to set this value below it to 360. And once you set those values, hit enter, and it's going to make that rectangle at those exact dimensions. And I'm going to show you why I set that to those dimensions. I'm going to expand my web page some more to make it bigger. But if we go back to the Wow Slider program and we click on the settings button here, it'll bring up the gallery properties, and let's click on images. And when we click on the images tab, you'll see that for parameters under image size, we set it to 960 by 360. And that's the reason that I changed the dimensions of that rectangle. I wanted to keep it the same size to ensure the least amount of issues when rendering the image. So let's go ahead and hit close and go back to the Xara Web Designer software. And what we're going to do next is we're going to right click on this rectangle, go to web properties, and click on the placeholder tab. When we left click on the placeholder tab, I want you to click in the head section here, because we copied the HTML code for the head section. So go ahead and left click on that, hit Control V, and paste in that code. And one thing you can always check is to check your comment tag. In this case, it says start wowslider.com head section, and that's going to let you know if you placed the code in the wrong section. But in this case, we placed it in the proper section. So go ahead and hit OK, and then you can hit OK again. And we're going to go ahead and go back to our web browser and get the rest of that code. So when you go back to the source code that we popped up before, this time we're going to copy the section that says start wowslider.com body section. And as you can probably guess, we're going to copy that all the way down to where it says in wowslider.com body section. So let's go ahead and copy that whole code, hit Control C, and go back to Xara Web Designer. And this time we're going to again right click on this rectangle and hit web properties, and we're going to go to the placeholder tab again, and this time we're going to click in the HTML code body section and hit Control V to paste that code, hit OK, and I'm going to actually leave this regenerate placeholder image automatically unselected. We're not going to select that yet, so just go ahead and hit OK, and we're going to hit Control S if you want to save this document, and I'm going to save it in the same folder as my WoW Slider files. So I'm going to type WoW Slider, hit save, and save that document in there. So once you save that, let's go ahead and hit File, and we're going to go ahead and hit Export Website. And it's very important that you export the website in that same folder that we published the images for Photo Slider, for the WoW Slider. So I'll say that one more time. It's very important that you export the website to the same folder that we exported our WoW Slider files in. So go ahead and hit the export option, and we're going to export it in my pictures in my case, because that's where my WoW Slider files are at. And if I hit export, it will export it to there. So once you do that, let's go ahead and hit File, Preview Web Page. And as you can see, we can see the photo slider in Xara Web Designer, and it transitions through the photos just like it did in the preview. So that's how you integrate the code that's necessary to display the photo slider. Now we're not done yet. That's only part of how to integrate the photo slider. You've gotten to phase 2 where you have the proper codes in there for it to display. But there's going to be a follow-up tutorial after this that will show you the final process of getting everything taken care of. So make sure that you save this file again. I'm going to hit Control S to overwrite everything I just wrote to make sure that it saves everything. And if you wanted to, you could regenerate this placeholder. If you want to, I might regenerate it just to see if it'll display it correctly. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, I'll probably just revert back to the way it was. Yeah, see, it doesn't do too well sometimes with showing the placeholder depending on how the code's written. So I'm just going to undo that and save it the way I had it before. But anyway, I hope this tutorial was helpful in showing you how to put the proper codes in the proper place in the Xara Web Designer software to display your photo slider in the Xara Web Designer software. So I hope that you stay tuned for the next tutorial. I'll be showing you how to actually take the next step in making this photo slider appear in your website. I hope that you stay tuned. Subscribe, embed, comment, and share if this video is helpful. And anyway, stay tuned for another tutorial. Have a great day.